we return once again with the investigators. At the conclusion of an investigation, or have they merely begun? Introduce yourselves, fellow players, in no particular order, which will mean, of course, that nobody introduces themselves for 10 seconds.
No,
I'm
I
Rufus, I play Stravinsky.
Shit! You was too fast. Okay, I'm Kleika, I play Martin Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Luke, I'm playing Violet Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Halloween, I'm playing Daniel Grant.
Okay.
And I'm Veteran, I'm playing Everett Ficazole.
But I am Kikoskia, and I play everybody else. Literally. Does anyone want a summary of what happened last time?
Yes.
Go for it.
The investigators had finished their investigations in the far, far basement areas of the Hematic Order of the Silver Twilight's lodge, helping a entirely non-responsive man up the stairs with them. They got to the very top and concluded that not only had somebody appeared out of nowhere, but the door was locked, leading out to the actual ground floor. And then the group decided some of them would hang back, others would go to explore, whereupon they found some extremely unusual opponents who managed to shoot and quite drastically wound Stravinsky. Daniel Grant concluded that they were human and yet not quite, but they both had the same sort of pockmarks that John Scott did.
Belgians.
They also had no balls.
No, they did.
I
thought they had no genitalia.
No, they did.
What?
I'm pretty sure you said they didn't.
No, they were completely naked.
I think
I said they had no
what you said
clothes.
is that you said they were androgynous.
Oh.
So they look we just couldn't tell from looking at it.
That changes like everything. I would have like gone for the balls, but I was like, well, they don't have any shit.
Either way,
chance. Anyway.
Everett, with quick thinking while combat was going on, was able to get somebody to open the door, and distracting them with quick talking, got one of that person to end up falling down the stairs partway down, and he ended up killing him. And then you all escaped.
Not
with
such
a
quick thinking.
was more an uncontrolled reaction when you ended up shooting the person, but either
No
way,
witnesses.
you escaped, but it seemed like people may have noticed you were escaping, and I believed you were heading back to Daniel's abode because Stravinsky needs treatment.
Yeah.
Unless you have a different idea. I mean, you could go to a diner or something, but they probably don't
That
have
was
the
our
medical.
plan.
I think we should get some flowers for Violet's driver.
Wait, Violet's driver died?
No.
No, he's just a fucking boy. I think.
Okay. Like not happy flowers, not like sad flowers. Okay.
Yeah, well,
No, I mean like, I feed him at least once a day. He's already treated far too well. Come on.
I thought he was named Algernon or something.
No, he's Algen. I think we determined he was
Yeah,
called
I'm
Algen.
making
or
a
Algen.
literary reference here.
Well, you know.
I thought when you said he's Elgin, I thought that's some kind of country or something.
Are we heading?
Jesus
Are we
Christ.
heading back to somewhere?
I mean, the basic point is where we want to go is somewhere where we won't get bothered and where they don't necessarily know where we are. Daniel, I assume your place has your medical supplies, right?
It does, yes.
Yeah, so we'll go there.
Good place to go. You head back to Daniel's place. There isn't at this time of night anybody really on the streets that when you get there will be paying any attention to you as you get Stravinsky in. Daniel, I imagine you have a place that you can put Stravinsky in your abode, that you can look to his wounds.
Yeah, we've got a medical table downstairs.
A medicine check will be good if you're going to examine him.
Righto. 28.
28. Yeah, the bullet went straight through, so you don't need to dislodge a bullet, which is good. You have managed to stop the bleeding. You don't think it has ruptured any organs. You think he's quite lucky in that regard. He's going to need a lot of... If he wants to recover quickly, he'd need someone tending to him, and he'll need bed rest.
Well, I'll get right on that.
Yep. Okay.
Well, we don't have anything pressing, right? So we can basically just downtime it until then, I assume, unless something happens.
Depends
elsewhere.
what you're planning on doing. The things that you have in summary is you do have that letter, which was stating various goings-on that the Hematic Order were doing. You also have those jars that you didn't open. You have 2 sets of them, and Strubinsky has the knowledge of the incantation that was on the wall in that same place.
Oh yeah, we were going to do research into
You are having bed rest, but it would not be difficult for you to impart that on people should you choose to, because that will only require words.
By the way, can you use Mythos tomes as a source of reference even if you haven't read it yet?
No, you have to have read it.
Okay, what I mean, you can't just like look through it for a reference to something. You have to actually like formally.
No, you have to have, once you've fully comprehended a Mythos tome, you can then use it as a point of reference. So you can use that copy of the Liber Ivonis, Corbett's Journal, Rupert's Diary, Basomnium Somnus, and that copy of Nameless Cults you have, but you couldn't use the Necronomicon.
Okay, good stuff.
That was going to be a long read, by the way, Violet. It is extremely voluminous. It is cryptically written, and ridden with strange terms, definitions. Even your knowledge of ancient Greek cannot fully comprehend.
That's all right. I'll dual wield translation books to speed it up.
What are we going to do in the time that Strubinsky is recovering, if anything?
Well, we should probably see about the dude we got, if we can get him back to his senses and.
I take it I'm looking after him as well.
It's not going to take any kind of with your medicine roll. I can easily tell you that his physical health is a lot easier to recuperate than his mental health.
Cool.
Physically, he's going to require food and bed rest and a little bit of medical care. He's going to need a psychologist long term to recover psychologically. His mind is gone. So even if you're treating him for his physical ailments, you're going to need to get somebody else to look at him for his mental ones.
Shit.
Considering his position, you could probably use the information that you have in his wallet to find the people he works for, or find if he has any kin.
I'm going to go to the Miskatonic Library, I think, and look up any references to the materials, specifically the 2 phrases, and anything that refers to those particular elements.
Oh, you're talking about the jars and stuff.
The jars, yeah.
You'll have to open them to have a look at those.
I thought they were labeled.
They were labeled, but they were opaque jars, so you haven't actually opened them to figure out what's in them.
Oh, I'm not too worried about that. I'll just use them. I'm going to go off the names.
You're not worried about them? Okay. Library use then, I suppose, for you.
Do it.
What's anyone else doing?
I'm medicaling.
You're medicaling? That's fine. Stravinsky is...
Well, if Daniel's here anyway, I might as well render onto him the spell.
If Daniel wants to learn it.
Oh, he's in the room with me.
Do you
anyway,
wish
so,
to
I mean,
listen to the man as he's trying to impart the thing on the wall?
Well, it depends what it does. I'll be doing my healing and medicine.
He's not
so
sure
possibly not.
what it does.
Then
Listen here, learn this
him
spell. You're just
imparting
like,
it
dude,
to you
I'm
is
trying
not
to save your
him
life.
imparting it to you is not going to make it involuntarily cast. You would still have to actually invoke it to have any effect happen. So knowing it is not in itself dangerous.
don't see why not then.
Okay, right, you're doing that. Who else have we got? We have Schmidt.
Oh shit, there's a spell to learn. Yes.
Yeah, but you have to be with Stravinsky to do that.
push-ups.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. Let's do
You
some
could-
fucking push-ups.
Okay, what about
I don't
Everett?
know. I wanna.
Hmm?
I wanna work on, I guess, the elephant gun and make sure that it's not gonna jam again.
Okay,
That
you
it's
can-
all fine.
You can...
I want to take an inventory of all of our weapons and kind of work on them and do some maintenance, I guess.
Okay, you're going to take everything apart, clean it methodically.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fine. Everett?
Yeah.
What kind of time period have we got here?
Depends. If they're waiting for Stravinsky to heal, we're looking at least a week.
Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is head off to the hotel where I'm shacked up.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure we told him our names, so I may need to make some new reservations.
Ah, sensible plan. Sensible plan. You can make some new reservations under different aliases.
I think Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll clean up all my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
make a reservation at a different hotel under a different name,
Right.
but also I'll leave a forwarding call to a third hotel with the original hotel
Good plan.
under the same name, and leave an empty apartment there
Okay,
and rent that out as well.
that's fine. That's fine. Anything else, or is that pretty much
Just
it?
that for the time being, and then
Okay,
I'll just
right.
head back to Daniel's.
Look at this practice.
What's
criminal.
the library use check from you, Violet?
Well, I actually want to check 2 things.
Go ahead.
Maybe even 3 things, because there's the bottomless box, which is obviously weird as shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's the elongated Dome Reaper specimens, who also I think presumably we'd quite like to find out what the fuck's going on there, because that might well imply something on what else is going on there, and the material. So there's sort of 3 separate things. So shall I roll 3 rolls or
3 library use rolls to start with.
41,
Mm-hmm.
53,
Mm-hmm.
and 75?
Right. And now, these are all Mythosium related.
Yes.
I want you to make me 3 Mythos rolls.
83,
Mm-hmm.
62,
Uh-huh.
21.
Right. What was the third thing you were checking on?
Elongated boys.
You were checking on them. Right. The first 2 things, the box and the powders that you were looking at, directly the terms of the Vitae and Custodes, at first you draw nothing on them. But when you're looking up the strange entities that you fought, one of them actually ends up linking to something that you read. You're thumbing through nameless cults using the library's reference materials, and you come across an entry where somebody created beings from essential powders and salts, and these beings were mindless yet not, and unflinchingly loyal, and strong as 5 knights. They were described very similarly to how you saw the things that you fought, and they were called Custodes.
Guardians. There you go. That's basically like a mythos version of a golem, I guess.
They are, as far as
Golem.
it gathers, they attack anyone that is not the person that created them.
Excellent.
And
on the other 2 fronts, the box and the
box, you come up with nothing.
Mhm.
There's no mention of it anywhere. There's all sorts of random tidbits about teleportation and transporting, but nothing specifically related to boxes. And
I have an idea on that. When
about
I
the
get out of
other
bed.
thing, you were looking up the Vitae as well.
Mhm.
No, not sure what the Vitae is.
Well, I think I can assume that's probably involved in the making of the whatsits, but that's just an assumption. All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Right.
Wouldn't Stravinsky know that, since he knows the spell, if it's a component?
You only know that they are involved in it. You don't know how they're involved in it. You know
Okay,
that
so that bit of information could easily be relayed to.
he's currently
Violet,
not there,
that
but you
it
can
is-
relay it to him when she gets back.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you teach me the spell anyway. Got to acquire my magic.
Well, you're not going to be in the library for too long with those rolls. So, basically a week passes. The important part for Stravinsky is that he regains 5 health in that week. Which is quite
That's some
substantial.
good medicine in.
Yeah, it brings him up
I'm up to 9.
Brings him up to 9, which is, what's your max again?
13.
13, yeah. It's important to note. And, the second thing is that, both Violet and Daniel, I want you to roll me a D100, both of you.
17.
17.
40.
40. Yep, that's fine. Both of you have been imparted the spell. The spell, if you want to write it in your description, is called Return from Essential Salts. Salt spelled S-A-L-T-E-S. I will explain. I'll explain to you how it works.
Well, I thought we didn't know.
As in how you use it. You don't know what it does. It's how you actually do the spell. You don't know
So
what
this part of the adventure is called Daniel and Trubinsky Go to Hogwarts.
Well, there's been spell casting from various people, so it's not the first time magic has been done.
That's true, but as a true study of Harry Potter, you'd know that wizards can cast magic even if they don't go to
I will
wizards.
tell you that you are knee deep in taking apart all the guns and meticulously checking them. You think you may have worked out one of the kinks in the elephant gun that was causing it to jam so much. There was a bit of slightly dislodged metal in the barrel that was causing some issues. Let me explain to you how you would cast this spell of yours that you're learning and have learned. I just need to find it. There are so many spells in this book. It's ridiculous. Right. Okay, what you have to do is it's basically a chant. What you have to do, as far as you've gathered, is that you need the powders that you have. You put them in a circle of iron rust, and you do this chant. There's a few hand gestures as well, and that will perform the spell. You don't know what it does, but that's what it's meant. But that's how you do it. And you have two sets of bottles. You have bottles from the Vitae and bottles from the Custodes. Now, Violet can tell you what the Custodes are.
Shall I tell them?
You can relay it to them if you wish. You do not have to.
No, I think I'll definitely tell them.
You relay to them that one of those half of those bottles that you have contain effectively powdered versions of them.
Gross.
And that they are hostile to anybody that hasn't created them.
Hostile powder.
The exact wording was hostile to the ones that have not created them.
On the bright side, that means that killing them isn't murder.
Woohoo! Wait.
Yes.
And then
no.
Then there's the other bottles with the Vitae in them.
Which we don't know what does.
And they aren't used in the creation of the Custodes.
They are not used in the creation of the Custodes. No, they are a different thing, but you don't know what they will make. You're welcome to experiment if you wish.
I'm good.
We'll just recapitulate H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator, you know.
Right. I have a plan.
What's the plan?
Am I able to get any sort of smoke grenade-y type things? Or anything that would work like it?
Not.
I mean, you could certainly get stuff that produces a shitload of smoke. Because at the time, theatres all had various different forms of practical special effects that relied on various forms of chemical fires. So they absolutely did exist, and you could get coloured smokes of all kinds of different kinds.
I would very much like to get this.
Would not be too hard to get a hold of.
Okay, so the idea is one of us goes to hang out near a fire station. The other one gets a high vantage point. And I stuff as much of that fucking smoke into the box. And then guy at high point will see if there's any smoke coming anywhere from the town nearby that's visible, and the guy at the fire station will see if anyone gets a call from smoke from a building. So if this thing comes out anywhere near here, we may find out where.
Daniel,
Yes.
you've been taught the spell, and you've been explained how it works, and from what you have been told, the Custodes will come to being from these salts. From your previous experiences in the last adventure that you had that went disastrously wrong, when you concluded that potentially a reversal of things in a spell may reverse the effects, your mind veers on the path that potentially a spell that you have could reverse the creation of the custodes and reduce them back to salts.
Useful, but we already dealt with them, didn't we?
Well, we dealt with some of them. I mean, the question is, how long would it take to do the ritual backwards?
2 rounds.
Okay.
But by that logic, you also remember that John Scott has the same pox marks.
But didn't you say they were mindless?
They are,
Yes.
yes. The custodes are.
Yeah. Although, I mean, we can assume that given that there's another set of powders,
There might
and
be more.
well, it's a way of bringing people back from the dead.
Yeah,
But
so
effectively
he's got an
constructs-
custode body.
Exactly, constructs a new body of a slightly unfortunate type.
So if we need to get rid of him, we could sort of undo him.
It's a theory. You don't know if that's for sure, but you're just cross-referencing things that you had previously experienced.
Okay, that's interesting.
No,
I'll relay that information of thought.
you relay it to the other. Sorry, you relay it to the others. An interesting theory. It's not hard for you to get smoke devices, and it doesn't take you much longer after the week to do an entire inventory check of everything that you have.
Nice.
You do have the elephant gun, you do have a somewhat alarming collection of pistols, and a series of rifles. As well
Didn't
as
we
some...
have a? Sorry, I thought we had a trench shotgun
you
somewhere.
You do also have a shotgun. I'm pretty sure you also have a few grenades as well.
Yay.
And some dynamite.
And some dynamite.
We're quite well armed.
Yes. You have a small arsenal in your doctor's home. You
I
want
think
to
that would
try?
attract some attention.
You want to try this smoke idea, do you? You are
If men are
you
willing.
are well enough that you can get up and about Stravinsky if you like, though it will impact on your treatment if you are too active all the time.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking I just do the smoke thing from wherever the fuck we are from another room. So
yeah,
that,
you can do that.
and
Who's
then
gonna
have other people oogle?
Who's gonna volunteer, if anybody, to go to the fire department and go to a tall building and see if there's smoke somewhere?
What are we doing the smoke for, sir? I'm
He
puzzled.
wants to see if, like, a huge plume of smoke appears somewhere in the city, which would relate where the other side of this box is. He wants to see if it
Trying to
emerges
see
in
where
the
the
city
teleporter
somewhere,
goes.
without going in it.
Okay.
Are we sure it's teleportation?
No, you're not
No,
sure
but-
at all. All
But
you know is that
considering what Binsky has experienced,
All you know
he
is
might...
Mhm. You presume so, yeah. But
Yeah.
all you know is that things in there vanish. You don't know if they disappear or if they get disintegrated or if they teleport. You're not sure.
Well, I mean, we could test if they disintegrate by simply taking a piece of string and putting it through, and if it comes back still with the other end attached, you know it's not getting disintegrated.
He'll keep pulling. He learned from the corpses until it's through.
I mean, you can try with a piece of string if you like.
Yeah, I mean, that will at
If
least
it
tell us
was.
if it disintegrates.
Okay, you
Put it in, put it back.
you hold onto the string. You dip the string to the bottom of the thing, and there is a momentary, intense tug on the string, like extremely strong, and the string is basically torn from your fingers, and then it is
Okay.
gone. It's completely
Oh, yeah.
gone. All the string is gone. It happens so quickly that you don't see it, but you feel it very briefly in your fingertips. The fingertips you're holding it with. It's just gone.
So it feels like something's pulling it on the other side.
So probably a bad idea to stick your head in it.
Yeah.
You're welcome to try.
Well, considering what we had to do with that corpse, I tried to stuff in there. Well, probably shouldn't do that.
You're welcome to try your fire brigade idea if you like.
Well, do it a quick try. Shouldn't take much more than an afternoon.
Okay, but before we do that, we should probably figure out what is everyone like. What is our actual like high level strategic plan? Because
What are you planning on doing?
we've just attacked effectively this group. They know because we killed a bunch of people and fucked their shit up that they know that we know, and they know who some of us are. So the question becomes, what do we actually want to do about that? Are we going to go back? Are we going to just hang out? What's the plan?
Just quickly, where do you park your car?
Well, my impression is that at the time, a lot of it was stables were converted into garages.
So it's probably off the street.
But the most likely thing is that the driver would actually have the car and would be the one who's responsible for moving it around and parking it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's like not on the street directly outside the house, that could
That'd
be
be a
slightly
poor
awkward.
decision.
So what is the high-level stratagem then? What are you planning to do?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Everett, who's looking a little bit pale and not quite eating as well, is just mooching around the apartment and possibly trying to chat with the emaciated dude if he ever gets to the point where he can talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say I'd want to talk. Like, certainly Daniel would want to talk to the fellow we rescued. I think.
Well, he is... Although, while you are giving him fluids and food, and his body is responding well in kind, no amount of talking is getting to him. He needs a psychologist.
Is
Once
he getting
he
to
is
the point where he
well.
can actually walk around on his own, though?
You feel like he's going to need a bit more of his mind back before that happens. He's very gone.
When I've got psychology as a skill.
Yeah, you're going to need psychoanalysis, though.
I've also got that.
You are welcome to try.
Okay.
Psychoanalysis, 37%. See how you do.
23.
23. Right, this is going to be intriguing. You're going to have to do that for a while. Let's see how long.
Is he in like the low sanity zone where you got to heal it back up?
Try the 0 sanity zone. It's not even in the single digits. He's at 0. Check. They hide it. The skills all the way over here. How long will you need to do this for? You're going to need to be doing that for about a month.
All right,
Okay.
so that's kind of a project.
I mean, that can be done while you're doing other things as well.
Yeah, he's potentially a cultist that's very, very, very strong once he gets his mind back, and we might be helping the enemy here. So what precautions are we going to take?
Well, I mean, I don't think right now we don't need to worry about that too much. I think.
I mean, they decided to resurrect him for a reason, I suppose.
This
We
guy,
have his wallet and we have his
this guy
name,
doesn't
don't we?
have pockmarks on him.
What?
This guy doesn't have pockmarks on him.
This guy's the prisoner.
This guy's the prisoner.
I thought he... Oh.
No,
He's the prisoner. Although
No,
we
it
don't-
was
we
it was
never know.
Scott who had the.
it's
pockmark.
Scott who had the pockmarks.
Oh,
That's the
okay,
main dude.
I guess.
This
yeah,
guy's
but-
just somebody you found in cells. He's got none
Yeah,
of
but
the
then-
symptoms of being resurrected or
Oh, I see.
brought to life.
I got that.
But maybe you have to be dead to be resurrected first, so they kill him first and then.
He's just a common or garden prisoner.
He's just a prisoner.
But we do have his wallet in his name, don't we?
You do have his wallet, his name, and where he works too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he had a business card with him. You know
Oh,
he's an
what is that?
intern.
Investigate his workplace.
What was that, Ben?
Maybe we should investigate his workplace.
He's an attorney.
Okay.
But by the way, which of us actually have the social skills? Because I assume it's like Phil and Clyco both have like high level social stuff, like fast talk and things like that.
I
No.
have fast talk and a couple of other things.
Clyco, do you not have fast talk?
No, I'm like soldier German man who speaks 48% English.
Yeah, Schmidt
have-
really doesn't have any social skills. Everett has social skills. Strabinsky, no.
The tiniest bit of psychology, but that's it.
Daniel, psychology and psychoanalysis, and he has credit rating, but really it's you, Everett.
Yeah, I have a few.
So we should just send him out as a spy.
Yes.
I
Go
might do
spy
it, yeah.
for us.
You're welcome to
Give me a
go to his place of work if you like.
Well, we got any other major plans right now?
We've also got the letter, which has another name in it, which is someone like Duncan McBain, I think it was.
Yes. That
Is that right?
yes, it was indeed Duncan McBain. That is, I will go back to it.
I kind of like how one of the biggest hurdles for our group is basically having to talk to a person if Bethrin isn't there.
You do have Duncan McBain. You have Miss Shantain as well as a name.
So
So what do we know about this Duncan fella?
Nothing
only
except
that
a
he
name.
was chatting with Scott, and he was obviously fairly aware of what was going on behind the scenes.
Where would we be able to find out information about this sort of kind of guy?
My guess would be we check the library for newspaper recordings and see if his name ever shows up in that.
Okay, assuming I'm done with my healing for now, I wouldn't mind going
Yeah.
to pop over and do that.
Yeah, you can
Right,
make
yeah, I'll do that as well for the
you can
time
make
being.
library
I
use
think-
rolls if you like.
If we're gonna do the smoke thing, we should probably do that fairly early because they might close the portal once they realize the thing has been stolen. If it is in fact the thingy.
All right, so let's divide and conquer because we only need one person
Yeah.
to go and check out the attorney. That can be Phil. I can go with Ben because I have library use Agillion,
Right.
and then we then just need the remaining two, which is Schmidt and Struinsky, to do the smoke thing because that just needs one person to do it, one person to look.
Smoke boxes
Well-
every day.
We need a dude at the fire station in case someone calls in smoke that we don't notice, and we need a dude actually to look for it at a high spot. So we need 3 people.
Well, I can go to high spot and be like, I can sneak up there and then hide on a high spot and look from there.
We just
I'm good
basically
at
need someone to
spotting.
stand for an hour outside the fire station. That's it. And then if there's any sort of call to ask, just ask where it is.
Sure thing.
Okay, I guess I'll do that before we go to the library then.
Time, son.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the quickest thing because that's literally going to take 2
Take an
hours.
hour. If it takes an hour, then we'll just head.
Yeah.
I'll pick up Violet along the way, and then we'll go to the library afterwards.
So which one
So,
are we
yeah.
doing first? The smoke thing?
The smoke thing because it
Right.
takes barely a little time.
It's not hard for you to find the fire department. You know where that is.
It probably won't work either, so we might as well get it out of the way.
Okay. So everybody is in position. I presume you're going to find the way up to a building. You're going to have to go up the either through the building or up a fire exit.
There might be
Who,
some
me?
lookout point. or
Somebody.
something somewhere.
Well, I'm gonna go to the fire station if there is only one. I take
There
it.
are numerous, but this is the closest one.
Okay, and then I'm going to try and find a high place close to the fire station.
There's a building next to you, pretty high.
Can I get up on the roof without being seen?
Not without being seen. You'd have to go through the building. Like you just
I
have to go
can't
up.
sneak up there.
You'd have to go up the stairs.
There must be a hill or some public outlook spot somewhere. There always is.
Yeah, but it's quite a distance away from the fire department.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we had another guy. At the fire
I
station.
go up the house. It's okay.
Okay. You don't encounter anybody as you go up, and eventually you get access to the roof.
Nice.
Ta-da!
I'm
Right,
on the roof
I
now.
put Farty in box.
Okay, you do that. They disappear once they start billowing out some smoke. You put them in, they disappear afterwards, and Schmidt, spot hidden check, please.
Kiko, roll, please.
Right, it's a lovely view of Boston.
80%, Kiko. I'm not blind.
Yep, it's a lovely view of Boston. Days going by quite nicely. Streets are busy.
No fire alarms.
No fire alarms.
God damn it.
Sun shining. It's a lovely day.
Nice. I take off my shirt and get a tan on top.
It's not
I
that
fall
lovely.
asleep. Fall asleep.
Ooh, the temptation to roll a luck roll here.
Do it.
Okay. I want you to make me a listen check.
Go for it, man.
You are awoken by an unusual sound.
Okay. Describe unusual.
The sound of claws against
Why-
floor.
Why is it always claws? Why can't it be nice thing?
Being eaten by a
Like
bird
a
or some shit.
Pretty girl sneaking up on me on a rooftop.
You look
All right.
around. You look around quickly,
Okay.
and all you see before there's nothing is just a brief moment of something just moving away from the edge of the building. Sanity check, please. You pass.
Yay.
And now, because you have this skill, I get to roll it.
Skill?
You're not sure what it is. At all.
Oh, mythos skill. Yeah. Okay.
You're not sure what this thing is, but it was there for
Okay.
just a brief moment. You think it was on the roof with you, briefly, but as soon as you woke up, it's scarpered. And I mean, it's scarpered off the side of the building.
I look down the side where it's scarpered off and see
There's
if I can find anything.
Nothing there.
It's
And, like-
Satan. I'm calling it.
Why is it always Satan with me? Again, why can't nice things happen?
Nothing there.
Okay. Well, I mean, our objective didn't come through, so that didn't work out. But obviously something happened here, so I want to return back to our place and share this information with whoever's there at the moment.
Alright.
Yep, you relay back to the others very quickly that not only was this not a success, but you think something was on the roof with you briefly. But you're not sure
Well,
what.
that's sort of a success because it means that something was tracking him.
Well, or trying to kill me in my sleep.
Yeah, but that's fine. We can work with that.
Oh, if you want to, I can fall asleep right here on the couch again, and you guys can look if it comes back.
It actually gives us a bit of an idea because we've been fucking around for a week and nothing has come for us. But as soon as he spends significant time under open sky, he gets buggered.
Okay, can you check me for like any weird kind of marks or something on my body? Like, I don't want to have a weird death mark on my ankle or something that I'm.
Sure. Do you want me to roll for that?
Yeah, sure, roll me medicine.
39.
He's fine.
Just a little overweight. God damn it.
No, not even overweight. He's fine.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong with him. There's no weird marks that you can see that would be cause for alarm.
All right. In that case, I guess we get on with the investigation
of
Yeah.
names. Well, I need some library use rolls from people doing that.
I don't think I got any library use particular. I got 63 though.
53. But,
Okay.
you know, I'm a library use god.
Daniel, you don't really come up with anything. Your efforts just lead to dead ends. You think, I know, I'll check the registry of names of like births and things. No, nothing happens. You come up with nothing on McBain. The only thing that you end up finding, which is really stretching it, is that there is record of when witch hunts were happening in Europe. So it's a book about witch hunts. You end up finding that there is a name that's exceptionally similar to Shantain, as somebody who was accused of witchcraft. They were accused of witchcraft. I will tell you the date. They were accused of witchcraft in 1620. There is no record of what happened to this person. No record of if they were actually executed or what occurred. Name's close to Shantrain, but not close enough.
This is the name we found in the letter.
It's one of the names in the letter, but it's close to, but not close enough. Not exact. But this is from somebody who was put on trial for witchcraft and scheduled to be executed in 1620. That
Okay.
would put them at well over 300 years old by now if they were alive.
I'm sure this information has nothing to do with our current circumstance.
You'd be surprised how much information you come across that doesn't.
Dude.
What other plans do you have, if any?
Well, Phil was going to go to the.
Yeah.
Everett was going to go to the investigate the attorney's office.
Okay, it's not hard
Yep.
to find the attorney's office. It's in a
For the
well-to-do.
record, Everett is pretty paranoid at this point.
Yep.
So he will be checking behind him. I don't know how good he is at spotting a tail, but that's something.
Well, isn't it a good thing that you were checking? Because you do think somebody is following you.
Oh, that's good.
You think somebody's following you. You don't think they're doing a very good job of doing it either.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shitting on their tradecraft.
They're dressed a little conspicuously. That's how you've noticed. They're in quite a heavy coat and a hat, and the weather's not really suited for that.
Is the coat very bulky?
No, actually quite light of frame.
So they're probably not concealing, a rifle or something
Not
under the
that you
coat.
can see, but it's a sort of a thing where I take it you're making efforts to try and be diversionary. You're taking, like, the occasional sharp turn and going down ways you wouldn't normally.
Once I realise I'm being followed,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to divert to that third hotel that I talked about
Okay.
and lead them over there.
Okay. This person is definitely following you, you think?
Excellent. That's really disturbing. So I
Just
guess
off
the
to the
first thing,
patent office to start.
does he
doing
actually
spy.
come into the hotel with me?
No.
Okay.
Hangs around on the other side of the street, buys a paper off somebody, starts reading it.
Okay. So I check in with the bell clerk at the hotel and ask if there have been any messages or anyone looking for me under my real name.
Somebody that came in about a day ago or so said they were your uncle?
Really? I thought he passed away. So, can you tell me what he looked like?
I mean, I wish I could, but he's. I had his face right in my memory there, but it's. No, I can't. It's just. No.
So nothing obvious you can remember. No large nose, scars on his face, or anything like that.
It's right on the tip of my tongue, sir, but it's so foggy. I don't get it.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
It's no problem.
So I go up and check. I don't actually go into my room, but I check the door to see if there's any signs that it's been tampered with or anyone's broken in, anything like that.
Good thing you did that, because the door is unlocked.
Which it wasn't before.
It was not before.
Okay, well, I don't go in. I'm going back downstairs.
Okay.
And then I'll quietly ask the bell clerk if there's a back exit.
Yeah, he tells
Preferably
you.
on the other side of the.
He tells you there's a back exit.
Well.
He asks why you want to use it.
I guess I just try not to fast talk him that I need something on that side of the town. And I need to
Make
get
me
there
a
quickly.
fast talk roll then.
82, so not very good.
He reluctantly lets you through.
Okay,
Takes a
so
bit
I'm
of a
out on
while.
the other side.
You're on the other side. The person that was waiting outside is not there.
Okay, so I actually now move quite quickly to try and put as much distance between me, sort of zigzag through the blocks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then sort of check around and see if there's anyone still tailing me.
No. You think you've lost this person now.
Cool. Okay, now we're going to go to the try and get our way to the attorney's office.
It's a well-to-do location in a pretty bustling part of Boston. It's got a receptionist at the just as you go in. There's nobody guarding the outside. It's got 3 or so floors. You don't think they have all of it. You think it may be the 2nd or 3rd floor, but you don't think they have the whole building. Because there are a few, like the things where they have little plaques saying who's where. There's a couple of other names, as well as the attorney's office that this person works at. He is marked down as one of the names on there, though, so he's like one of the big names.
Alright, so I'm going to chat with the receptionist for a little bit and introduce myself as, I guess, an old school friend of Mr. Clark.
Ooh, more fast talking are we doing?
I don't know, it's just like, not really fast talk so much as just generally trying to persuade her that, I'm just an old school friend and I was wanting to,
then.
Okay. 25.
Right. It's not long before you get out of her that the firm is very worried because he's not come to work for the past week.
Just a week.
Just a week. Yeah, she explains that he like a week ago, he came to work, he went back home, and then nobody's ever seen him since. And she does state that she did contact everybody that he knew, his wife, his brother, his friends of the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. They expressed great concern at the fact that he was missing, and said that they would relay any news that they discovered about his whereabouts should anything come up.
You sure it isn't 2 weeks?
No, it's a week.
Okay.
Because we were treating Stravinsky for a week, right?
Yeah, so he would have, within a week, he'd have been put there immediately as we found him.
Yeah, like he was emaciated when we found him, which was a week ago.
You ask, like, when you think about this, you ask a week, and then she pauses, shakes her head, and she's like, sorry, it's been just so much him disappearing. It's actually been 2.5 weeks.
Okay. That makes sense.
Days just blur by when people are worried about him. She asks if
So now
you've
I
heard
do-
anything about him.
I say I haven't, and in fact, now I do try and fast talk her.
Mm-hmm.
That I'd love to check in with his wife and make sure she's doing so well. I knew her so well. What
Give
was her name?
that a go.
54.
She doesn't yield that information to you.
No.
She says
Okay.
that normally it's so, but with it, she talks about the confidentiality of such information. She sympathizes with you.
Yeah.
But says that maybe you should just check your diary, and I'm sure you'll find
Yes,
her
I
address
must have
there.
left it at home. Have you checked with the police at all about him? Have they said anything?
Oh, yeah, we have. They have one of their detectives working on that right now. A Manningly, I believe he was.
That would be fantastic. I'd love to check in with him and keep apprised of the investigation.
Oh
myself.
yes. He's normally in most days. Let me give the. She gets some contact information. It's like, well, if you have anything to give to Detective Manley, just please go see him.
Ask her if he'd been involved in any unusual cases recently.
What, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, if he had any weird clients.
I like how the voices just tell Everett what to ask.
Try to work out how I could even work that in.
Well, it might be a reason that he got. I mean, because that would be a pretty. If we're in the 1920s, a lawyer going missing because he asked some unfortunate questions or takes an unfortunate case would not be unusual.
No.
You're welcome to go and relay this information back to your colleagues at any time.
I
We
won't
already
ask
know through our
her that,
psychic-
but I think we might check up with the police about it. Anyway, I'll say, thank you for your time.
Yep.
And leave the attorney's office. And once again, check to see if my friends found us.
You're not being followed. No.
Not being followed.
No.
Okay, so once again, rather paranoidly, make my way back to Daniels.
Right.
And,
You're going to relay all this information back to them all?
including and probably focusing on the fact that I was followed and giving them as best a description I can of the guy following me.
The description doesn't match, I can tell you all now, doesn't match anybody that you saw on that night at the lodge. Nobody of that height that you know. Because that person
It feels memory weird about the face of the guy that followed him.
He never actually got a good look at the person's face.
Yeah, I just saw that he was like...
Very conspicuous.
Saw him in a window that he had a conspicuous guy with a big...
Very much following you. You
Game
relaying
Spy guy.
everything that the receptionist said?
Yes.
Okay, most of you recognise one of these names.
Manly.
Yes. You recognise Manningly, although when you last saw him, he wasn't as high rank.
Is he one of our boys?
He was a sergeant back then. And you talked to Manningly when you were originally dealing with the Black Knife cult.
He's not the guy who was with us in the WhatsApp, was he?
He was the guy that was with you when you went into that weird basement area where you lost Stravinsky.
Oh, wow.
Oh, excellent. All right, so he is
has
a boy.
gained a promotion since the last time, although You think the receptionist might have got it wrong. Detective is extremely high rank. She might have got that a little wrong, but you know this person.
But more importantly, he's as they say in the know.
As far as you know, yes. So you could.
Well,
go
no,
talk to
I
him.
mean, in the sense of like mythos shit.
Yeah, you could go talk to him.
Yeah.